Today I'm going to show you what might be the fluffiest, most delicious, and honestly one of the trickiest pancakes ever. Japanese soufflé pancakes, but completely without eggs or milk, and made from chickpea water instead. Sounds unreal? Just wait until you see this. Let's make them. The vanilla sugar should be very fine, almost like powdered sugar. I'm grinding mine in a stone mortar, but a coffee grinder works perfectly too. I'll share lots of helpful little tips along the way to help your pancakes turn out beautifully. Because Japanese soufflé pancakes are true divas. One tiny mistake and they can collapse completely in the end. Now the vanilla sugar goes into the powdered sugar. This sugar mixture will later help stabilize the fluffy foam we're about to make from the chickpea water. Next, we add the xanthan to the sugar mixture. Xanthan acts as a stabilizer, helping the whipped foam hold its structure, much like cream stabilizer. It's important to mix everything really well so the foam stays stable and doesn't collapse later in the pan. Now we combine the flour, potato starch, or any other starch, and the salt. The more evenly everything is mixed now, the easier the batter will come together later, and it also helps prevent annoying lumps. If you'd like your pancakes to have a slightly more yellow color, similar to egg yolks, you can add a tiny pinch of turmeric. I skipped it today. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you'd like to support my channel. It's still very new, and your support truly means a lot to me. Plus, that way you won't miss any upcoming recipes, and you can always quickly find my videos again whenever you need a delicious idea. Soy milk works best here because of its higher protein content that helps the batter emulsify later on. Add the milk little by little, only until you get a fairly thick, creamy consistency. It should definitely not become runny. Depending on the flour you use, you may need slightly more or less plant milk, so it's best to follow the consistency you see here in the video. Most people still don't believe these pancakes can work without eggs, but the next ingredient changes everything. For 3 pancakes, we need about 50 milliliters of chickpea water, also called Aquafaba. I usually drain the whole jar just in case I need a little more later. And don't worry, the chickpeas won't go to waste. I turn them into crispy chickpea balls afterward, and I'll link that recipe for you at the end of this video. You'll find lots of delicious chickpea recipes on my channel in the future because I absolutely love these pancakes. This next step is optional and only necessary if your aquafaba is very thin. In that case, simply simmer it gently for about 20 to 30 minutes to reduce it slightly. That makes the liquid thicker and helps create a more stable foam later. Depending on how tall you want your pancakes to be, feel free to add about 1 extra centimeter to the parchment strips so we can straighten them nicely afterward. They should sit completely flat against the pan. For this recipe, we'll need 3 parchment paper strips. I'll also show you 3 different ways to shape the pancakes: flat, medium, and extra tall, including the pros and cons of each version, so you can decide which one you like best. The easiest method is definitely using metal rings like these. In a moment, you'll see why the combination of parchment paper and metal rings works best. And yes, I'll admit it, it's a little fiddly, but for results like these, it's absolutely worth the effort. The parchment strips need to be greased very carefully so the batter doesn't stick and collapse while baking. This step is really important. The more carefully you do this, the prettier your pancakes will look in the end. I'm using virgin coconut oil here because it works perfectly for brushing. And don't forget to grease the round parchment bottoms as well. They don't just prevent sticking, They also create a little heat barrier between the pan and the pancake. Before whipping, chill the aquafaba for at least 1 hour in the fridge. That helps keep the foam stable. And the acidity from the lemon juice gives the foam even more stability. Now we whip everything until the foam becomes white and stiff enough that it won't fall out when you turn the bowl upside down. An electric whisk like the one I'm using here works best for this. It's reliable and much faster than using a regular mixer. Once the foam is stiff, we add our sugar xanthan mixture and keep whisking until the mixture starts clinging to the whisk. The next minute decides whether your pancakes stay beautifully tall or completely collapse. Gently fold only a small portion of the foam into the flour mixture to loosen it slightly, because this is probably the easiest place to accidentally ruin the batter. Gradually fold in the remaining foam until everything is fully combined. The important part is to work slowly and gently here. Don't stir aggressively, it's more of a folding motion. And this is what the batter should look like. Incredibly fluffy and ready for baking. I've found that using a piping bag is the safest method because it lets you fill the molds neatly and evenly. As promised, I'll show you 3 different ways to make Japanese soufflé pancakes, and one of them completely surprised me. First with parchment strips and metal rings, then inside greased metal rings without parchment paper, and finally, completely without rings or parchment paper. In just a few minutes, you'll see why I now use only one of them. And this is where almost everyone goes wrong the first time. The right temperature is what separates flat pancakes from beautifully tall ones. The pan should already be fully preheated, but the heat must stay very low. On my stove, I'm using level 3 out of 9. These pancake divas need a long, gentle bake, at least 15 to 20 minutes. After all the testing I did, I found one tiny trick that made the biggest difference. While the pancakes slowly cook, occasionally drip a little water into the pan to create steam. That gentle steam helps seal the outer surface, allowing the pancakes to cook evenly and stay beautifully tall instead of collapsing. If you gently touch the surface with your finger and it no longer feels sticky, it's time to flip the pancakes. Because the heat is so gentle, you can carefully lift and turn them with your hands. Just be careful with the metal ring. It gets surprisingly hot. The second side doesn't need as much time. Depending on how tall you made your pancakes and how deeply browned you'd like them, another 5 to 10 minutes is usually enough. I'm going for a lighter color today, so they'll be ready a little sooner. In just a moment, we'll compare all 3 methods side by side. The difference is much bigger than I expected. It honestly took me quite a few attempts to get results like these. That's exactly why I wanted to share everything I learned with you, so hopefully yours turn out perfectly on the very first try. Even if you grease the metal rings really well, the batter will still stick without the parchment strips. That can easily ruin the smooth sides of your pancakes and makes removing them much more difficult. The same batter, but 3 completely different results. And now you can probably see why the parchment paper and metal ring method became my personal favorite. It lets the pancakes rise beautifully tall while keeping that perfectly smooth surface. But honestly, you can't go wrong with any of them. They're all absolutely delicious. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.